Hi, herzlich willkommen zu diesem neuen Video. Ein bisschen anders als sonst. Wir treffen uns gerade im Zoom mit der lieben Jenn von Bellyeye Alltag. Und wir wollen uns ein bisschen über Kunsttherapie unterhalten, ein bisschen über Kanada und wie es ist, woanders eine Kunsttherapeutin zu sein. Und ich glaube auch, dass sie neben dem Ganzen auch ein ganz besonderer Mensch ist, ein ganz intuitiver Mensch und dass sie ganz viele besondere, schöne Sachen jetzt zu erzählen hat. Davon ab, dass sie auch besondere Erfahrungen in einem anderen Land gemacht hat oder macht. Ja, sie hat nämlich auch in den USA studiert und lebt in Kanada und ich denke, es wird ein ganz spannendes Gespräch. Herzlich willkommen, Jen. Hi, Jen. So
Hi.
nice to have you here. Hi. Hello.
Thank you. This is the coolest thing ever. I love this.
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous because I didn't talk English in a while, and I'm not so sure if it will work out right. If you don't understand what I want to say or something, just just ask me, and yeah, and maybe I have to ask you too if I don't understand what you're saying.
Your English is great. You have nothing to worry about. It's perfect.
Yeah, but since I'm breastfeeding, I sometimes don't talk German as well, so that's another problem. Yesterday, I asked my husband to pour some cup into my tea and stuff. Yeah, so that's how it is. Yeah. Would you like to tell the people something about you, who you are, maybe without telling what you're working and without telling your age? That's sometimes more interesting to just tell something about you, yourself, who you are.
Uh, so that's hard not to say those things.
I know.
I feel like I have been always the type of person that doesn't ever fit in a box. I've been the black sheep a lot of times, and it's worked really well in my favor. Um, Actually, when I was going to school, I had no intention of being an art therapist. I had no idea even what art therapy was. It wasn't until a professor in my last semester of my undergraduate, um, who was an art therapist, that I was really, really inspired by. So I had to swap everything that I was doing in school.
What were you doing before that?
A Bachelor of Arts in General Humanities. So I was going to school to be a teacher, specifically an English teacher. And yeah, it was after I met that professor and I took the one art therapy class that we had at the school. I was like, this is what I have to do. I need to do this with my life. And the school she recommended was actually in America. And I was like, I don't know. I'm dating someone. This is not the life I've ever envisioned for myself. And within 6 months, my whole life flipped. It switched and did a whole 180. And within a couple years, because I took a couple years off to go traveling, I ended up out in the States. So
So
I
you
feel, I
went
guess you
traveling before, and then went traveling before for 1 year or so, or
yeah,
and then
yeah,
somewhere completely else with a new thing that you just learned what it was.
yeah,
How
yeah,
was that for
exactly.
you? How was it?
Ugh, amazing. Everyone is like, how did you do that? Did you know anyone out there? Do you do this by yourself? And I do. I do a lot of things just by myself because I want to do it because I figure that if I don't do it and I wait for someone else, it might not ever get done. And so that's something else about me. I love to travel. I absolutely love to travel. That's why I love that we're doing this. I think this is so cool.
Yeah, you're signing your Instagram posts, the traveling art therapist. What do
Yeah.
you mean by that? What is that?
My dream is to transition into traveling as an art therapist everywhere in the world. And my project, it started as a project before it became a company, is about advocating for art therapy, advocating for mental health. And I just want to bring that to every corner of the world so people have a fighting chance at improving their mental health, understanding that they are allowed to have better mental health, understanding that you can use art to heal in any capacity.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Art therapy is not that popular all over the world, is it? No.
No,
Is
no.
it popular in Canada?
It's becoming more popular. That's why I went to school in the States, was because it's more recognized in America. There's more regulations, there's more governing bodies to work under, versus in Canada, it's still really new and up and coming. So a lot of people don't know about it. A lot of insurance companies don't cover it. There's a lot more obstacles in the way because it's still so new.
It's the same in Germany. Yeah, and it's better in America, you say?
Yeah.
And the quality,
yeah.
Your art therapy studying, the quality of your education. Do you think it's better that you went to America to do that, to learn art therapy?
I think I'm a little biased because I went there. It was an easier route to take, because in Canada, you have to do a full master's in counseling or psychology and then add on more art therapy education. Whereas in America, I could do both together. So it was a dual master's of counseling and art therapy. And the school is accredited, which makes it a lot easier to become a certified counselor, a registered psychologist, and an art therapist.
Okay, that's great. You said you would have to study psychology first, and then you could have done art therapy afterwards. So that's about 8 years or something, or more, even more. Yeah. How long did it take for you in America now?
3 years.
3 years. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 years for my master's, so a lot better than 8.
Yes. Can you tell the people something about your work that you're doing now? Something about Bellyeye art therapy? What is it? How did you come up with that? How does it look, your daily life as an art therapist in Canada?
Sure. So Bellyeye art therapy was created actually when I was living in Australia. So after I graduated in America, I just moved straight to Australia and I lived there for 2 years. I fell so much in love with that country. I want to go back there and live there at some point in my life again.
Where did you live there? Where did you live?
I was kind of all over. I was traveling quite a bit. I spent a lot of time on a dairy farm in South Australia.
Wow.
So I was milking cows, which is so funny. And I loved it. I loved the job. I loved working outside. And it was when I was milking that the idea came to me. A professor of mine at grad school, she would always say, when you're working with a client or you're sitting with your own artwork, what is your belly eye saying? So what is your intuition? What is that gut feeling saying? And so it really stuck with me. I'm like, that's something that I really want to continue bringing forward, something from my roots, and really embrace that. Is what is my intuition saying? What is everyone's intuition saying?
Most important thing in art therapy, or as an art therapist, your own intuition. I think so too. Every time some people are talking about which books are best, or what art therapy book do you read or something, I always say no, go to a hospital where an old art therapist is working, and work with him for a few weeks. Better than every book. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I'm like that too, very hands-on learning. It's really good. The type of work I'm doing right now, it's really new. I just started a private practice. I'm working underneath a company, but starting my own private practice with them. So I'm just getting the advertising out now and trying to advocate for our field, because a lot of people, again, don't know what art therapy is. And I think there's a lot of fear or hesitation around it, and a lot of hesitation around, well, I'm not good at art. I can't do it. So I've been trying to make
why is that? What do you think? Why do people think that?
I think it comes from our upbringing in school and maybe society as well. You know, I know for us here in Canada, when we had art classes, it was pass or fail. You got graded on it. Even in my university degree, I went to art school. So every week we had our artwork critiqued. It was hung up on the wall for everyone to pull apart and criticize and judge.
Okay.
So fine arts is very different from art therapy, right?
The other students could judge your artwork. There were sheets where they can write down what they were thinking about your artwork.
It was right in front of the whole class. Yeah, what was working well, what wasn't working well, what needed to be improved. And some of the professors were very, very honest.
I know that. I know that. I studied art therapy, but some art therapy professors, or we even had some art professors in art therapy school, and I know what you're talking about. Very, I know that. They can sometimes make you cry.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so the work I'm doing right now is just, it's really new. But I'm working with primarily adults and teens.
What do you like most?
I love working with adults. I love it.
Can you explain why? What is that you love so much in that work?
I think based on my own personal experience in the art therapy class I had in Canada, actually the one course I took at my school, it was the first time that I felt like I was really seen and really understood through art making. And the class was so funny. Like, it was just every day we would go in and do a different directive or talk about a different theory. And then on the very last day, we had to hang all of our work up on this massive, massive wall and talk about it. And I was so nervous. I was so nervous to talk about some of the stuff because I'd never talked about it before. I felt like I was never allowed to. I felt like maybe I'd be judged. Maybe people didn't want to hear about it. And I got through it. I didn't cry. I was so proud of myself. And one girl was like, "Can you tell me about the stick figure drawing there?" And I just started bawling. And my professor was like, keep talking through it, keep telling us. And there was, I think, 25 people in my class, and it was like you could hear a pin drop. It was just so silent. And I felt so heard and so validated. And I just want to offer that to other adults. I want to give that feeling to them, to know that they can be heard and seen in a way that just regular talk therapy can't do.
Language of the soul.
Yeah, exactly.
So beautiful. Thank you. What kind of people do you work with? Who can come to you? Does they experience that bring them to you?
The demographic I primarily work with are probably in the age range of about 25 to 35. Just everyday people that feel like they don't have the words to explain what they're feeling, and something just feels off and they're not sure where to go or who to talk to, and maybe other forms of therapy haven't worked for them, or other forms of even just self-care haven't worked for them. So those are the types of people that I want to work with.
Do the people have to do art, or have experience in art, or knowing how to paint, how to draw?
No, not at all. Not at all. That's like the number one thing I keep talking about actually recently too, is like, you do not need experience, just get in here. It's not about the product, it's about the process. We can figure it out as we go.
Do you also experience that very few men come to an art therapist?
Yeah.
Why do you think it's that? I don't really get it.
Do you experience that as well? Like where you're at?
Yeah.
Okay. I hosted a workshop not too long ago just for the staff at the place that I'm working at. And the one owner, he's male, and he had a lot of hesitation. He had so much pushback to wanting to do the art. And it wasn't until the second time he started making art in my workshops where he just let go and started really getting into it. And he was talking about how it's just something he doesn't do. And I think it's a societal standard that, oh, men shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be vulnerable. They shouldn't be anything less than how society needs them to be. So it was really interesting watching him open up, because there was such pushback for him to do it. There was a lot of need to be perfect, or fear of not being perfect, or fear of kind of losing control of it. But once he stepped into it, it was really beautiful. And he acknowledged that too, that it's not very often or ever that he makes art. And I think that's the case with a lot of men. They just don't make art as often or as openly as maybe females do.
But I would love to change maybe that. That's the point. Yes, not as openly.
Yeah, I would love to change that. I really, really would love to work with more men.
You just posted something about that, a man.
Yeah, men also need validation.
Men also are human, he wrote, I think.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yes, maybe they feel that this is so much more than just talking, and even talking is hard for a lot of men, talking about feelings, and then
That's
really opening up through something you do right, um, out of your soul with your heart.
yeah, that's really true. That makes a lot of sense. I'm hoping to change that. The more that I advocate for art therapy, the more I advocate for mental health. I hope that by even just us doing this kind of work gives men permission to be open, to be vulnerable, to be more soft, to take risks, to make more art.
What do you think about the sentence, every I don't know the proper translation of Joseph Beuys, every human is an artist. What do you think about that?
Oh, I love that. I feel like that fits really well with my vision and kind of my mission with Bellyeye Art Therapy, because I don't believe, for me, I don't believe art therapy is just pens and paper and pencils and paint. For me, it's everything in between as well. It's singing so badly in the shower. It's when the leaves have fallen and you're walking and you can hear the crunching. It's the coffee dates with your friends, the phone calls at like 2 a.m. It's all this stuff in between. And so I just feel like life is art in all ways, depending on how you look at it. And I was talking to a friend recently about this, and he was like, yeah, that also feels like it feels like art therapy is more accessible if everything is art, if there's art therapy in the small things as well.
Yeah, maybe art um, art is art is how you look at things. Art is existing just because we see stuff through our eyes, our
Mm,
artistic eyes, or something.
yeah, yeah, I love that.
So, what does that mean for art therapy? So, art therapy could also not just be doing a painting in your art therapy room, but also maybe just taking a walk with you or
Hmm.
anything else.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. And I think I want to encourage my clients to look at the art outside of the session as well. So maybe they made the physical art in the therapy session, but maybe they went home and it inspired them to put more love into their cooking, take time to slow down and just make something for themselves to give back to themselves. But it's not the art. Maybe it's they took time to, put on the face mask and do their nails or whatever, or took time to go for a long walk and just be with themselves and was really mindful about it. Just, I'm hoping that these art therapy sessions in the closed container of a session can inspire the art therapy in the other ways outside a session.
So nice, so cool. Yeah, it's a good view. Yeah.
Thank you.
Um, what does creativity mean to you, and how do you engage creativity in your daily life?
Creativity for me means taking risks and just trusting. So trusting my belly eye, going with the flow. I think for me, finding creativity is like in the smaller places too, when I don't have time to just sit down and make art, or if I'm feeling really resistant to facing whatever's coming up in the art, I'll try and do it in other ways. So going for a long walk, just having like a really nice bubble bath too is my favorite thing to do. Cooking like a really good meal, calling a friend, talking about it. But I always usually have a journal or a notebook or a sketch pad pretty close by. So I usually try and draw something down.
And do you use that later then for other artwork, or do you just do it for doing it?
I notice that sometimes in the moment it doesn't maybe make sense. Maybe it has some sort of message, but I notice that I'll come back to it maybe a month later, maybe a couple months later, or if I'm just cleaning out my office, I might stumble upon it again. And then it just has this whole new meaning. It makes sense in a completely different way when I have some distance from it.
So you're your own art therapist as well. Do you
Yeah,
know that
yeah.
when you have painted a lot of paintings, and after a while you're looking at them and you see something that you didn't realize for months, but it's just so clear, and if another person would have painted that, you would have seen it right immediately, but right away.
Yes. I love painting big scale, like really big scale. I don't really have the space for it in my apartment right now. But it's so funny because I have a couple really large paintings in my kitchen, and I'll just be like making breakfast and look over and I'm like, huh, I never saw that before. And then I noticed that I was laughing about this the other day, actually. They keep changing the paintings in my kitchen. So it's like just based on kind of how I'm feeling. So they'll be a certain way for about a month, and then I'll get sick of it. And then I'll come back into my studio, do it over, and then hang it back up. And it just changes the entire vibe and energy in my home. It's really fun.
Yes, yeah, it's a little bit like cleaning or something, like
Yeah.
throwing stuff away. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you ever painted something completely white and restarted a painting?
Yes, actually did. Some of my, and it felt really good. It felt really cathartic because it was some old paintings from when I was in school just as an artist, not an art therapist. So it felt like just kind of painting over this old version of myself and then starting over.
That version that had to be perfect or had to fit in and had to be an artist and not just you.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So cool, beautiful. And how did you feel afterwards?
So good. No regrets at all.
I still do have a lot of little paintings from my studying time, and I use them as birthday cards. I just cut it into squares, and then
Oh,
I write something on it and use them for about 5 or 6 years. I'm doing this with, and I still have some left. Yeah,
that's smart. I love that. It's such a good idea.
yeah, I like that too. So I never ever have to buy a birthday card again, and I don't have to throw them away. But sometimes it's good to throw stuff away. Have you ever thrown your art away? Just
Yes.
just destroying it and throwing it into the trash?
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree. It feels kind of good every once in a while just to not hang on to it and let it go completely.
Have you burned something?
I usually burn a lot of my writing that I do. So I live quite close to the mountains right now, which is really, really nice, like so fortunate. Um, so a friend of mine and I, we go out to the mountains like once a month or once every couple months. And there's a lot of snow right now, but there's a place where you can walk in and there's little fire pits along like this big river right in the mountains. It's so beautiful. So we'll go out there and like take some food and stuff like that. And I usually bring all my writing to burn on the fire while we're out there. It's so good. It's just, you can literally feel the energy just coming off and not holding on to that anymore.
It's a transition. It's some kind.
Yeah.
It's also some kind of art. It's like performative art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Like you said, those other things. Um, Drinking coffee with a friend, or going to the mountains with a friend and burning the writings. Yeah.
yeah. And there's something about someone else witnessing that. I know the first time I told my friend, I was like, okay, I got a lot of stuff to burn. I pull out this big envelope of just like writing. And he's like, yeah, I kind of figured you'd be doing that. And it was so interesting. I was like, oh, I didn't expect him to know me in that kind of way, to anticipate that I was going to do that. And it felt really healing to have someone hold that space and just witness me let go of that, even though he had no idea what was in the writing, but just to hold that space was really, really beautiful.
Yes, I can imagine. Yeah. In that moment, he was your therapist.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, can you tell us something about the beautiful place you live? What is the town you're living in? Calgary? Is it
Yeah.
correct? Calgary.
Yeah.
It has a big national park. I just googled it, and I didn't know
Yeah.
anything about it. I never heard that name before. but it is a very huge city and a very
Yes.
beautiful place, I guess.
Yeah. Calgary is quite large. I don't know how many people live here exactly, but it's quite large. I live kind of right in the center of the city. I live like a 2-minute walk from this river that runs through the city, which is really awesome. I love being so close to the water. And then the National Park Banff is an hour drive, 1 hour drive. I'm not sure if you saw my photos, but I went out to the mountains a couple weeks ago and I went ice skating
Yeah, as I've
on the
seen that.
water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very huge river or something. It was completely frozen. Completely
Yeah.
frozen. Wow.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. So there's lots and lots of places that you can go hiking, skating, snowshoeing. So close, only an hour away, and you're right in a national park.
Did you grow up there? Is that your hometown?
Yeah, so I grew up 2 hours north of the city I'm living in now. So kind of a lot more rural. The town only had 6,000 people in it when I was growing up, so quite small. And I'd say I think it's a bit closer to the national parks, but you could see the mountains from our back door in the distance. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't ask that. Where did you study art therapy in America?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So it was way out on the East Coast. So I went from the West Coast of Canada to the East Coast of America, and I drove.
Oh, wow. How long did that take?
It took me 3 days, and I think I drove 12 or 14 hours every day. And then I got there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was very, very loopy by the end of it. Like, I remember I was driving, and 1 second I was like laughing and just having such a good time. And then a song would come on, and I'd be like crying, just so exhausted by the time I got there.
Yeah, it's a huge country.
Yes. Yeah.
And we tried 2 years ago to do the whole west coast of Australia by car, and that was not a good idea. It looks so small on the map, but it's a continent. We can't do that.
Yeah.
You need like
Oh,
2 or 3 months or something. But
that's awesome.
we went to Karajini National Park then. Well, it's half up north in Western Australia, and then to the center, like a few hundred kilometers or something. I don't know. It was about another 10 hours to the center by car, but it's so beautiful there. There were no people, and it's the most beautiful place I've ever seen. Yeah, this place and Iceland are the most beautiful. I haven't seen so much places, but both are very beautiful. You travel a lot, you said, yeah. Where have you been already?
I've not done the West Coast of Australia, and I'm so jealous that you've done that. It was on my list, and then I ended up running out of money and running out of time, so I couldn't do the West Coast, but that's awesome. I did Europe when I was like really young. It was a school trip. And so I think we saw 6 countries in 2 weeks. Like it was very, very
Okay.
quick. So it's like, okay, look.
Oh, the Eiffel Tower. Now we go to Berlin. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Literally. Yeah, totally. I've been to India twice. I love India so much. Such a culture shock both times I've been there. The first time I was there because I was in a friend's wedding, and it was the most beautiful experience I've ever been a part of.
Wedding in India, very huge.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was 4 days. Yeah. And so much fun. So much fun. And it literally looked like I felt like I was in Hollywood. It was so big and so beautiful, and just so many colors, and the food was unreal. Amazing. The second time I was there, I studied in an ashram and we meditated. We were there for 2 weeks. It was probably one of the hardest things I've done, because I think you take breaks in between, but you meditate for 8 hours every day. So it's a lot of silence.
And is it also with fasting and not eating or drinking and everything, or?
It was up to you if you wanted to. I love Indian food so much, especially in the country. So I was like, I'm not fasting. I just want to do this. I did fast for one day though, because I wanted to try a little bit, but I love the food so much.
People always keep asking me what I earn, how much money do I earn doing art therapy, always, because they think about art and poor artists, and they can't imagine that you can make a living with that.
Right. So it's funny because up until this point, I've done a lot of stuff for free because I thought, well, no one really knows what it is. I should just offer it for free. And when I was actually in Australia, I did a lot of free pro bono workshops. My friend and I collaborated and did a one for moms and then one for their teen daughters or teen children. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to be doing what we're doing for free. And so now I charge $150 a session.
Oh. Okay, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
So you did a lot of things for free because why? Can you just tell that again?
I always felt like, well, people don't know what we're doing. They don't know what it is. So I should offer it for free. And after doing all the work for free, I'm like, never again. There is way too much work that we do. And even like the money that we have paid to become educated as art therapists, I'm like, no, I'm not doing this for free anymore.
And it's exhausting. It's a very tough work.
Yeah, exactly. So like, no, not anymore. So now I charge $150 a session.
150. Do you know how much euros this is?
Let me see. I'm gonna say about 75, maybe. If I was a registered psychologist, I would charge 200 a session, but I'm not. I'm a counselor, so that it's a little bit different. So I charge less. Sorry, 1 second. Canadian dollars. 97.50 in euros.
Oh, that's good. I charge less, but I can understand that you're taking the money that you need, and a lot of I experienced that a lot of women charge not enough, and don't value their work enough.
Yeah. It's so hard because a lot of people are like, well, if it was cheaper, more people would do therapy. A lot more people would come to art therapy. But the thing is like when we're emotionally burnt out because we're giving too much, we can't show up for more people. And money is this exchange of energy. It's also kind of how people are buying into therapy because it's that exchange of energy. So if people are paying for sessions, they're more likely to show up. They're more likely to invest in themselves and the work that they're doing too.
Yeah, that's what I'm always saying as well. I'm a kind of art therapist that I can there's one insurance that would cover my kind of art therapy and anthroposophic art therapy. I don't know if you ever heard about that.
No.
Have you heard about Waldorf schools?
No.
It's too much to explain that, but there's one insurance in Germany that will cover that, and I sometimes have people who are calling me and asking me if they can come, and they are in that insurance, but I just need to go to the doctors, see the doctors, and he has to just tell that I'm healthy, and something another little thing that I would have to do that this would be possible, and I didn't made it yet, and I think I didn't make that because I like those people who want to come to me. They chose me and want to pay for my work, value my work. And every time those people are calling me asking if it would be covered, I feel that it's not about 10 sessions would be covered in art therapy, but they could also do a special kind of massage. And and I also always have the feeling that that it's not that they just want to take everything that is for free, and they would also go to take the massage if I say I don't do it, or it's not covered if they're doing it with me. It's not the commitment I want to see in people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. I would like to start running groups again, because it's a little bit more affordable, but you're also still getting the benefits of art therapy as well. I just need to figure out the space for that.
Yeah, I know that problem. In
Yeah.
summer, you can go outside and go to the mountains and paint the mountains.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
Yeah. Do you have to? Do you want to say something to the people? Something that is left that I didn't ask, that is lying on your heart, that you want to get out there to the world, or to Germany at least?
I think I said everything, but I know tonight I'll lay in bed. I'll be, oh, I should have said that one thing. I guess the one thing I do want to say is another big part of what Bellyeye art therapy is advocating for social justice, and really working with people too that have also been marginalized, and helping to empower them and give them a voice, but also like work alongside of them as well. So I always want to make sure that I'm trying to do my part in checking my own privilege as a white woman from Canada, but also like doing my own research and just really, really showing up for my clients the way that they need, instead of making it about me. Really just doing my own self-work too.
So important, yes. Yeah.
But
it is a little bit about you as well. If you're doing Instagram and uploading photos about yourself, telling people about yourself, and they want to hear and see that as well.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I don't know if you find this. I find it's like this balance I'm trying to learn, because I want to advocate and also kind of lead by example, but not make it about me and the attention being on me. It's about something else. Yeah. Yeah, it's such a fine balance. So I'm still trying to work with that and navigate it. But
thank you so much to be here. It was so great to talk to you. Thank you for sharing all these things. And I would like to talk to you like 3 or 4 more hours, but I think I have to do a cut here and just say thank you for having you here.
Thank you so much. This is honestly the best experience. Thank you so much for even just thinking of me.
Yeah, I'm following you for 1 year, I think now. And I always thought you're such an interesting person. And you started a few months ago to post more recently about art therapy, and that was the point I was thinking that we should talk about art therapy. And yeah, Bellyeye art therapy is growing and it's becoming more a brand.
Yeah, slowly.
So great, so beautiful to see. And I really like what I see there. And I just thought I very much would like to talk to you and talk to you about art therapy. And it was a good decision. So thank you very much.
Thank you.